Myths and legends.
Hello everyone. I know it isn't the time of year for scary stories, but we're continuing our presentation series, and last week I talked about fitness myths. So this week I'm going to talk about some paranormal myths that are less common. So everybody's heard of aliens and Bigfoot. These myths are a little bit lesser known, but still horrific. The New Jersey Devil is not as widely known as Bigfoot, but has a significant number of reports in the New Jersey area. The legend has it that in the early 1700s, Mary Leeds had 12 children, and upon finding out she was pregnant with a 13th, she refuted the child and said this child will be the devil. When born, the child came out deformed and immediately scurried into the forest. Since that time, the Leeds Devil has been sighted in southern New Jersey. There have been many significant figures to report seeing the devil, and this has led credence to the reality of the devil. In the late 1700s, the former King of Spain, Joseph Bonaparte, was staying at his vacation home in New Jersey. While hunting, he reported coming right up on the devil. Many attacks of small children and small animals followed this sighting. Sightings continued sporadically for the next century until the week January 16, 1909. This week, over 1,000 people reported seeing the monster. The exceptional number of reports during this time, combined with the credibility of the witnesses, is what scares people about the possibility of an actual New Jersey Devil. One report came from the head postmaster, who said he had seen it early in the morning on his rural route delivering mail. Another report came from a city council member and his wife, who stated that they had woken up at 2:30 a.m. to loud sounds outside. They looked outside for 10 minutes and saw the New Jersey Devil standing on the roof of their shed. The man was able to draw a very specific drawing of the creature before yelling out his door to get the creature to leave. Later that week, Mrs. Sorbinski of Camden heard a commotion in her yard. She opened the door to see the Jersey Devil standing there with her dog in its grip. She hit the devil with a broom until it let go of her dog and flew away. She started screaming until her neighbors came over. 2 police officers arrived at her house where over 100 people had gathered. The crowd heard a scream coming from Kagan Hill. The mob ran toward the creature on this hill. The police shot at it, and the devil flew off into the night. The streets of Camden were empty after this. Teachers, policemen, hunters, and naval captains also reported seeing the monster during this stretch. The best contemporary sightings come from park rangers. There are many theories about the New Jersey Devil. One theory is that the devil is a sand crane. Sand cranes used to live in New Jersey until pushed out by humans. Another theory is that the devil is actually a pterodactyl that has lived since prehistoric times, possibly in some type of cave dwelling. There is theory proposed by some scientists that some ancient creatures have been able to live past their supposed extinction points in underground habitats. This goes for more than just the pterodactyl. This is also a theory that some people attribute to the Loch Ness Monster. The most chilling theory is the theory that the New Jersey Devil is something more supernatural, a predictor of things to come. The devil was seen in significant amounts shortly before Civil War, World War I, and World War II. When I did this presentation the first time, I mentioned how interested I have been in the paranormal since I was a little kid. My family has always fostered this. We actually took an entire vacation to visit the city where the Mothman occurred and the movie The Mothman Prophecies was filmed. This is in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, right on the border of West Virginia and Ohio. The story goes that on November 15, 1966, two couples were chased in their car at over 100 miles per hour by this giant Mothman creature. Police investigated and found hoof-like footprints. Over the next year, the Mothman sightings increased. A journalist decided to investigate these sightings and found that there were also a lot of Men in Black interactions as well. One girl, Connie Carpenter, supposedly stared directly into the red eyes of the creature and was then shortly diagnosed with Klieg conjunctivitis. This is a condition where the eyes have been subjected to too much ultraviolet light. A week later, she reported to the police that a man in black attempted to abduct her and put her into a van. She also found a note at her house that read, "Be careful, girl, I can get you yet." Police routinely reported radio interference when showing up at witnesses' houses. The sightings ended in December of 1967, right after a terrible bridge collapsed that killed 46 people. So with many of these creatures and beings, we see some type of connection to horrible mass death events. And this is why so many people believe that they are possibly foretelling something to come. So I mentioned that I was going to go over some of the most uncommon creepy myths and legends. One of the newest creepy legends is that random sets of staircases can be found way out in the middle of the woods. The reports of this phenomenon started in the internet about 5 to 10 years ago. There are people who say that they have found these staircases between 50 and 100 miles away from any type of civilization. The reports grew extraordinarily quick, with many from hikers, park rangers, and experienced forest veterans. Sometimes you can see evidence of a larger structure that the stairs were enclosed in or built up to. However, some of the staircases look like they have just been teleported there from out of nowhere. Additionally, some reports say that vegetation doesn't grow around these stairs. Theories are that cult groups built these staircases to hold rallies. Another theory is that these stairs are some sort of dimensional transport, and you can go between worlds if you scale them. Anecdotally, park rangers have said that their superiors have told them to go nowhere near them. The next legend we're going to talk about is probably the most famous because of all the movies, the Will Smith ones especially, made about them. The Men in Black are an actual, real, reported phenomenon. Many people who have reported seeing alien crafts and researchers who have invested alien evidence have reported being visited by Men in Black. The reports are usually all the same. Two men dressed in all black suits with sunglasses and hats show up and start asking creepy questions about the event. Many times, the men are reported to have weird skin, eyes, and speech patterns. Oftentimes, the encounters with these men end in threats to stop talking about the aliens or else. Some people are sick and diagnosed with radiation poisoning after meeting with the Men in Black. There are many theories about what the Men in Black really are. The most common is that they are secret government agents that try to investigate and cover up evidence of aliens. However, because of their weird appearance, speech, and the effects that seem otherworldly, there are other explanations as well. Many people think that these are aliens who try to act as humans to help cover up their own mistakes. Another theory is that they are an advanced race of humans who have lived secretly on the Earth, and they are covering up evidence of their own reality. The weirdest theory proposed is that the Men in Black are secret agents, but they are part of a psychic agency within the government. This psychic agency recruits people with natural psychic tendencies and then experiments on them to enhance their psychic ability. This is why the Men in Black look so weird and speak so weird, and may even have some change in their chemistry that affects people around them. This is also why they sometimes show up even without an incident being reported. One of the most horrific legends has to be that of the black-eyed children. My son and I are obsessed with this legend. Black-eyed children are a phenomenon that have been reported for decades. Normal accounts of these encounters include two children between the ages of 6 and 16 coming up to a person either in their car or in their home. The children are often wearing hoodies and are very wet, even in the absence of a storm. The children always ask to be led in the car or house and give some excuse about needing to call their parents or needing a ride home. People who report interacting with the children tell that they feel an overwhelming sense of dread or doom, but also the children have some type of hypnotic effect. Some of the explanations for these children are that most often they are reported at night and the pupils of any of the persons are enlarged at night. When someone interacts with them, they are scared because of the dark and the creepiness, so the black eyes get exaggerated. Additionally, there are contacts that are sold online that can black out the pupils. However, there have never been anyone claiming to be the hoaxer of these accounts. Paranormal explanations are that these are ghosts of children haunting the world looking for their parents, or partially part demon intent on bringing something bad to the person that they come to. There's even an even more outlandish explanation that these are time-traveling aliens. The Whiteout phenomenon is an unusual one for sure, and probably the one that is the least talked about. Southwestern Native Americans believed that owls foretold death to come. The Mayans also believed that they were messengers from the underworld. The contemporary legend is extremely spooky. Some people report having dreams of white owls or waking up in the middle of the night to see a white owl. Then, when these people are psychologically hypnotized or evaluated, oftentimes they reveal trauma that is covered up by this screen memory of a white owl. The screen memory has been shown to be repressed alien abduction experiences. Our final paranormal legend is one of the most frightening because it has so much science behind it. Skinwalker Ranch is a property located in a valley in northern Utah. The area has had reports of paranormal activity for centuries, beginning with the Native American legends that lights would be seen at night and terrible half-human, half-animal beasts would terrorize the area. Skinwalker Ranch has been a hotbed of terrible encounters. Local Native Americans literally will not enter the area. The Sherman family bought the property and built their ranch there in the 1990s. They reported many horrific mutilations of their cattle. It became so bad that Mr. Sherman began staying up all night to protect the cattle as the family was going broke from losing so many of their cattle. One night, he reported seeing a giant wolf-human creature tearing into one of his cattle. He shot the creature at point-blank range. The creature hardly flinched, but finally left the cattle and trotted off, seemingly not scared by the gun at all. After all of the things that happened to them, the Sherman family finally sold Skinwalker Ranch to Robert Bigelow in the late 1990s. Robert Bigelow is a very wealthy casino owner, and he wanted to use the area as a research site for paranormal activity. He set up the National Institute for Discovery Science at Skinwalker Ranch. Once he did this, the occurrences only got stranger. The researchers' job was to observe and document any events. They observed many events, night after night. Researchers say that they observed a portal open up in the middle of the night and a creature come out of it at an extremely fast speed. They also reported the mutilation of a calf only 50 yards from them while they had their backs turned. The calf never yelled, and its entrails were neatly piled up with very little blood splatter anywhere. After multiple experiences, the researchers concluded whatever they were dealing with had some type of precognitive ability, as it seemed to always know where they would be and how they would react. Researchers reported that all the video equipment that they put up would be destroyed before any attack, and sometimes right in front of their eyes, as if the entity had the ability to become invisible. All of this can be found from scientific reports that were put out by the scientists who worked at the Institute for Discovery of Science. Eventually, Mr. Bigelow closed down Skinwalker Ranch because they just couldn't do anything to stop the creature.
Thanks for watching, everyone.